Welcome to Your Good News. I'm Rena Sargentopoulos. This is a show dedicated to nothing but things that will make you smile or at least help you find hope and faith in humanity. The world is a tough place sometimes, and we just need to hear some of the good things going on. Let's start with something ridiculously cute. These little guys are now just weeks away from their big debut at the Minnesota Zoo. The new Red Panda Forest is set to open right around Memorial Day. Now, red pandas have been missing at the zoo since 10-year-old Min died back in 2021. Now the beloved species is back, and we got a sneak peek at the stars of the show, their roommates, and the year-long process to make their new home.
Red pandas have been at the Minnesota Zoo since it opened in 1978, so we have a really long history.
If you are a tiny tyke, you have never experienced the wonder of red pandas at the Minnesota Zoo. But the wait,
so this project's been in the works for over a year,
is over.
Really utilizing this space to bring that species back to the zoo, for us, was kind of a no-brainer.
The zoo had space and red pandas were top of the list. A no-brainer, he says, because, well, there's cute and then there's red pandas cute. But the exhibit was too big for just red pandas, so now what?
We look at where red pandas might be from. We also look at what other animals are available. So we're excited that we're going to be bringing in western tufted deer and red-crowned cranes to supplement the red pandas.
3 species native to China and the Himalayas that all do well in cold climates. Now, you might think the zoo goes out and searches for the animals and then builds the habitat around them, but it's the other way around, a sort of build it and they will come kind of thing.
Everything's intentional. Everything's intentional.
Gina Louise is the exhibit designer. She has to create a space that is comfortable and enriching for the animals, ensures that they can't escape, and also gives guests a good view.
You feel like you're really in their setting, watching them in the wild. So like creating foreground, midground, background, you know, a lot of zoos don't have anything up front because they want you to be right in there. But if you were looking at an animal in the wild, there'd probably be something between you and that animal.
Misters, mossy areas, and solar-powered cooling spaces will help keep the pandas on view during our hot summer months. And a brand new building will house all of the animals at night or in bad weather. Okay, now we just need the animals.
I love cranes.
The first to arrive are the red-crowned cranes, sisters hatched last year from National Zoo in Washington, D.C.
They're called red-crowned cranes, but you might have noticed there's no red on them right now. They're kind of drab colors, and that's because they still have their juvenile plumage.
Dr. Ann Rivas says it will be about 2 years before those red feathers start to pop. The cranes are about 5 feet tall, will hunt insects and frogs, and on the day we visited, we're getting their physical exams.
Hi, sweet girl, I know.
The girls passed. And though they are beautiful, it was the stars of the show who arrived next.
Yeah, I know. There's people here to see ya.
Here's your first peek at cedar and spruce.
Even their crunching is very cute.
They are 9-month-old brothers born at the Lincoln Children's Zoo in Nebraska.
They have settled in really well and started bonding with their care staff here, and we're thrilled to see how quickly they've acclimated to life here in Minnesota. Come here, you want some?
Dr. Rivas is feeding them nutritional biscuits and some fruit for snacks, but their main diet is bamboo.
Good job, you want a grape for that?
Red pandas are considered endangered, and while panda is in the name, they are more closely related to raccoons, weasels, and skunks. These cuties currently weigh in at about 10 to 12 pounds and will likely live to be teenagers.
That kind of snuffle sound as he's smelling, trying to figure out who we are and what we're doing. They can kind of growl and grumble. They've got just the best little personalities.
Yes, you will want to snuggle with one, but it's not recommended. The final residence, the tufted deer.
They're pretty petite, they're really adorable. And the little male that we have, his name is Douglas. He's been a little gentleman so far.
Douglas is from the Cleveland Zoo. His girlfriend will arrive from Prospect Park Zoo in New York soon. They will be a breeding pair.
Tufted deer are a species that needs support in our zoos to help maintain their populations, and so we're happy to be able to provide a home for a breeding pair and their offspring and help support that population.
They are most well known for their adorable little fang-like teeth. Douglas hasn't grown his yet. They love to browse on leaves and are a brand new species at the Minnesota Zoo.
They have a lot of really interesting vocalizations, so if he's trying to figure out who you are, he'll sit there and click at you. They can bark, they can growl, so even though they're small, they have a big personality.
There you have it, Red Panda Forest. More than a year in the making, from concept to construction to culmination. The final touches are being added as we speak, so you'll have to visit in person to see it for yourself. We mentioned all the zoos that our new animals came from. Now, they're not on loan. It's all part of the conservation side of things, where the Association of Zoos and Aquariums works together behind the scenes to make sure animals are protected and preserved for future generations. As we mentioned, Red Panda Forest at the Minnesota Zoo opens right around Memorial Day. Stay tuned to the zoo's social media pages for the official opening. Well, now is the time of year when people dig out those bikes from their garages, and a Fergus Falls man peddles an important message. Boyd Huppert has more on his mission to save people from a difficult path he knows all too well.
All right, nice and easy.
It's the time of year when kids in Fergus Falls
Slow up to the line.
saddle up
Stop.
as their town makes sure they do so
You did fantastic.
safely.
The bike rodeo.
But this isn't Mike Hikus's first rodeo.
Yeah, been doing it most of my adult life.
Wrangling Minnesota and North Dakota kids to helmet up
I should have counted out how many rodeos. It's a lot.
because of what went down 43 years ago.
And a brain injury happened when I was 18.
18 and a week from starting college on a scholarship.
Yeah, not a care in the world.
Till a night of celebrating. A friend behind the wheel speeding. This curve in the road.
Both of us were drinking.
And a Mustang that left the road and rolled.
I was thrown through a closed window and landed on the highway. It was a trail about 20 feet where I slid. Fergus Falls youth in critical condition following rollover.
The headlines
Yeah.
and the bag of his hair the hospital handed Mike's mom.
She was supposed to give it to the funeral home, and they would have put it back in my head to make me look presentable.
All of which led to the hundreds of Post-it notes
Use the meat.
sprinkled
Repot spider plant.
around Mike's home
11 o'clock, KRE.
and hands.
That's when you were coming in.
Such is the life of a brain injury survivor.
Otherwise I'll forget.
But then, so is this.
Promise to wear that every time you ride bike.
When his brain injury kept him from driving, Mike started biking.
Big boys wear helmets.
That's
Yeah.
when Mike began noticing kids riding
You're fast.
without helmets.
You live through a brain injury. I don't want to see anybody else have a brain injury.
The brain injury survivor
Yep.
put his mind to it.
I started in 1999, and I've given over 22,000 away. It's all helmets.
So many helmets,
Cost $10 a piece.
semis have pulled into Mike's driveway.
Donation containers.
Mike places his containers at businesses in and around Fergus Falls while seeking donations from service organizations. And when that's come up short,
That's what home equity loans are for, right?
a second mortgage for his first priority.
I hurt my brain in a car accident, but I got on a bike just the same.
He's one of our local treasures.
Patrick Hollister,
Yeah.
who helps run the bike rodeo,
Now go through this figure eight.
saw last year's headline that Mike was retiring
You'll be a safe bike rider.
from helmet giving.
If I need speech therapy. No. No.
Yeah,
I have a hard time saying no.
maybe next year Mike will remember.
Retire.
But just the same,
Want me to buckle it?
hedge your bets on this being his last rodeo.
I'll adjust this just for you, okay?
Boyd Huppert, KARE 11 News, Fergus Falls.
There, now you be safe. Yeah, all right.
Mike orders his helmets more than 1,000 at a time. Not long after announcing his retirement, he put in another order. Mike told Boyd he cannot bear the thought of a child dealing with the same kind of brain damage that he suffered. Well, coming up, from bikes to buckets, Paige Beckers gets her own day. The Timberwolves are on their way to the Western Conference Finals, and more for Minnesota fans to be buzzing about. But first, here's some of your good news that you shared with us this week. Patty Joyle says, May 6th, Tom and I have been married 30 years. He's my theater buddy, adventure partner, Renaissance man, and my best friend. Here's to the next 30 years. Oh, happy anniversary, friends. Love that so much. Michael's wishing happy 8th birthday to Chino. Michael says his eyes were removed due to a disease. He's adjusted very well and is a very happy cat. He's my guy. Happy birthday, Chino. What a cutie. And Patty McQuiston says, at the beginning of March, I was able to go on an amazing trip to South Africa. I was able to see many animals in their natural habitat, as well as interact with elephants and monkeys at sanctuaries. That sounds like the trip of a lifetime. Loving that. Welcome back. When Paige Bueckers was selected as the #1 pick by the Dallas Wings, Hopkins, Minnesota said a proclamation simply isn't enough. She went to high school here, and we're changing our name to celebrate the start of the season. Now, that happened on the night of her WNBA debut, and Gordon Severson was there for the party.
For 132 years, this small city outside of Minneapolis has gone by the name of Hopkins. But for one day, they're changing the city's name to Paige Bueckers, Minnesota.
Had to check with legal first, but yes, yeah.
Mayor Patrick Hanlon says they normally issue proclamations to honor special achievements.
But this one felt extra special, so we felt we needed to take an extra special step.
Besides the name change, there's also Bueckers Boulevard near Main Street.
Fun to support each other.
And over at Amy's Cupcake Shop,
We have sugar cookies, basketball-shaped macaroons.
special treats to honor Hopkins High School's greatest basketball player.
My daughter plays basketball, so it's just awesome to see someone from such a small town do such big things.
Right next door,
We do a different flavor every week, and this week is specifically for Paige.
a special ice cream from A to Z Creamery.
Cake batter ice cream for the celebratory aspect, frosted animal cookies, and a cream cheese frosting swirl.
And over at LTD Brewing,
Special beer that we're releasing.
a Paige Bueckers beer
It's a watermelon fruit punch sour.
with 50 special edition cans that are already sold out.
They do sell fast. This is exceptionally fast. They were gone in like 5 minutes, so.
Don't worry, they still have about 25 gallons on tap at the brewery, where they are hosting a watch party for Paige's first game Friday night.
The city's kind of electric right now.
A city filled with excitement to see one of their own grow into a budding superstar and role model for young girls around the world.
More and more people are becoming women's basketball fans. I think that's a great thing. It's just something that's, I think, is really awesome.
Tough spot for fans. Who to cheer for, right? Well, the Lynx did take that game 99-84. And the crowd goes wild. The Minnesota Timberwolves are headed to the Western Conference Finals after taking Game 5 against the Warriors. Audrey Russo was also at Target Center when the game ended, so she got a look at how fans are feeling.
The party got started before the game even ended. With a comfortable lead in the fourth quarter,
Wolves in 5. Wolves in 5.
no knocking on wood here.
Wolves in 5.
You might say the celebration started too early.
Nasri. Ant-Man.
But the fans would say they've waited long enough.
I went to the 2004 game against the Kings. It's been a long 20 years.
So I already got my t-shirt for the parade, you know what I'm saying, because we going all the way.
Huge for us. We used to buy tickets for $5 a seat. Now we can't even afford it, but we don't care. Wolves in 5, baby.
Wolves in 5.
Wolves, man. Let's go.
And that's not all the great sports news. The reigning Walter Cup champion Frost are back in the PWHL Finals after a dramatic overtime win over Toronto at the X. Frost down in the third. Kendall Coyne-Schofield tied the game at 3 to send that game into OT. Then Taylor Heiss says that's why they drafted me #1. She gets the game winner to send the rowdy fans at the X home happy.
Yeah, obviously I'm over the moon. This team has worked so hard this year. We've had so many ups and downs. But when the crowd shows up for you, and this is a must-win game for us because obviously we sent them home, it's huge. We're excited to be here, and we're excited to keep playing for the Cup.
It's pretty good times for Minnesota sports fans, not something we're used to around here. So some are embracing their inner fanatic and getting tattoos to commemorate their teams. What started with Naz Reid tattoos last season has taken on a life of its own. Ken Erdahl got to see it firsthand.
Where in your body?
Left calf. Minnesota sports fans are still buzzing today.
And design.
I'm leaning towards the heart.
On an all-time high. It was amazing last night. We just showed up.
Miranda O'Neal is talking about the Timberwolves game.
Who's next?
But she just showed up here outside Green River Tattoo.
Design number?
For the Vikings.
I'm gonna hit that skull.
And she wasn't alone.
What's up?
Hey.
Dozens of fans of the Purple spotted a social post from the team yesterday.
Designs here?
Offering a selection of free team tattoos to the first 50 people in line by noon.
Got here at 9 a.m. this morning.
That put Andrew Deschamps in the top 10. but nowhere near #1.
Right after the Timberwolves game, seen that great win, and then I just took off.
Michael Castilla drove all the way from Granite Falls, but still got here by 2:30 a.m.
I've been a fan for a long time, so it's time to put it in ink and show support the real way.
Yeah, you can hop up then.
All right.
We literally are asking our fans to bleed purple and gold, and as you can see today, I feel like they showed up.
Jackie Ramaker says the team had a feeling that would happen.
Would you be willing to get a tattoo? Yes, I would. Oh, dear God.
After seeing the response to their now viral schedule release video, which featured Green River Tattoo and real Vikings fans who were recruited to put some real skin in the game.
100% they're real tattoos designed by Colin and Steven, who are the shop owners of Green River Tattoo.
You ready? Yep. All right, let's go.
Steven says the hardest part was designing the tattoos for the schedule video.
I thought it might be a hard sell to get someone to get like a team that you hate.
But hours later, the love for their work was undeniable.
So it was cool designing all of the pieces, but the Vikings were awesome. They made it super easy and streamlined. Seeing all the response online has been really cool. It's interesting to see that tattooing and sports culture are kind of getting a little ingrained together now, you know?
And the Vikings play just one part in that.
We got the outline done.
The outline of Target Field. Baseball is like my first love, so it felt really fitting.
And no Minnesota Fan Inc. would be complete without 2 words.
Naz Reid, of course, and then the ant for Anthony Edwards.
Got the Naz Reid one last year. And the trees and the basketball. I got those at Beloved Studios in Roseville.
All I got was a Naz Reid tattoo.
And yes, the shop that introduced the $20 Timberwolves trend is also still buzzing. Which brings us back to Michael.
I might actually go over to get a Timberwolves tattoo right after this if I'm able to.
As soon as the Wolves win this year, I think the curse will be broken and everyone's just free to win a championship.
Still to come, we'll talk more sports with an international superstar stopping by the Twin Cities. But first, here's more of your good news that you shared with us this week. Steph Lang says Milo had his first outing to Home Depot. He was such a good boy that he got a pup cup afterwards. I wish we could see the picture of the cat wearing the little harness getting the pup cup. She attached this pic of Milo also, just chilling in a basket. I want that Milo energy.
Is that a kitty cup?
It was, yes. And the other picture had him in a little harness. And it looked very cute. So
I love it.
Paula Tucker says, my niece sent me this picture from St. Cloud. This little Tweety was sitting on her deck rail. We think it is a northern flicker. And it is, in fact, according to Google, a northern flicker, which is, by the way, a type of woodpecker.
Oh.
I had no idea.
Well,
you learned something new.
It's sitting in a great spot and it's not causing trouble.
Yes, there
I
you
like
go.
that.
And Rob from Crystal was golfing at Brookview and captured this mom and her baby. Spring has sprung, and so have all the baby geese and ducklings, and they're cute, at least at this stage, right? And Rob, we hope you are under par.
Be careful when they cross roads.
Yes, absolutely. He's considered one of the greatest soccer players of all time. So when Lionel Messi showed up to play in Minnesota, it turned into a star-studded affair. The day was on the calendar for many, and as Morgan Wolf shows us, Allianz Field sold out as nearly 20,000 fans came to see Messi on the pitch.
I got here an hour early, and there was lines all the way outside the stadium.
A rarity in sports when the most cheered for player in the stadium.
I was so shocked. But at the same time, I kind of knew it was for one person.
Isn't even on the home team. Because when Lionel Messi comes to town, it's not just a match, it's a moment.
I've been a fan for years. This was the loudest that Allianz has ever been.
From the warm-ups to the final whistle, every time Messi touched the ball, phones went up. So did the noise when he scored his team's only goal of the game.
The fact that we were able to see Messi was awesome. The fact that we saw Messi score was even better.
Wolves in 5, baby, Wolves in 5.
Inter Miami was handed a loss as Minnesota United fans walked away with the best of both worlds.
To be able to be within 15 feet, it felt like. It was surreal.
The scoreboard favored Minnesota, but every fan knows the real win.
That we saw Messi score too.
Witnessing one of the greatest players of all time in their own backyard.
Yes. I've never heard anything like this.
And this one has nothing to do with sports, but it is time to get out in the garden, maybe spruce up your yard. While Minnesota is far from tropic, there are certain plants that hold up better in our summer heat. In Grow with Care, Bobby Jensen and Laura Becker bring us a list of the top 10 annuals.
It's time for perhaps our favorite list of the entire season, the top 10 annuals from the University of Minnesota's West Central Research and Outreach Center in Morris, Minnesota.
She has to say it, I could never get that right. These are the ones that made it through our Minnesota summers. Let's take a look. Begonia Hybrid Adora Velvet. It's a beautiful, beautiful red, and it stood up to heavy rain, deer damage in both sun and shade.
Celosia Bright Sparks Bright Red Bronze Leaf provided continuous bright red color throughout the growing season.
And one of my favorites, Coleus Premium Sun Crimson Gold, remained healthy and thriving throughout the summer on both gardens and planters.
Dahlia Virtuoso Pinkerific flower earlier than other dahlias and are resistant to powdery mildew.
That was a beautiful pink too. Impatient Sun Patience Vigorous Purple. It shines in any location from full sun to full shade.
Lantana Shamrock Rose Gold is also a great container plant with a beautiful shape and a sweet fragrance too. Hummingbirds love it.
Lobelia Heatopia Dark Blue has top-notch heat resistance and a fantastic purple to blue color that grows in the sun or shade.
Marigold Pretty Yellow is a wonderfully uniform variety of an absolutely old-fashioned favorite.
Salvia Sally Fun Pure White is a snowy standout while looking effortless and graceful. Kind of like me.
Exactly. And if you're shopping container gardens, the quick combo Picnic in the Park mix is a great choice for long season color, both containers and hanging baskets.
Let's take a final listen to some of the good news you shared with us this week. Janine Shapley says, this is Ace. He loves to smile. Look at that. I just love when dogs smile, as if they don't already bring us so much joy, right?
Right.
There you go. Debbie Bordeaux says, this
Perfect
is...
pose, too,
I know,
by the
right?
way.
Debbie Bordeaux says, this is an egg casing of a praying mantis. Someone gave it to me from our work garden. Debbie sent an updated photo as well. She says there's more holes in the next picture, if we can see that maybe. Nope. Okay. Anyway, she says that she can't wait to see them hatch and grow, and we can't wait to see that either. This is from Shar Gullickson. She says, our daughter Terry turned 60 and we celebrated on Kentucky Derby Day. It was such a great time, and she even won the contest for best hat. Looking good. Blue looks good on you, and so does 60, by the way. So congratulations and happy birthday, Terry. Nancy Lindquist says, my son's family is in Austin, Minnesota. We were there to celebrate Mother's Day, and as usual, we were treated to a beautiful sunset.
Very cool.
She attached several different sunsets from different trips that she has taken there. It's stunning. All of them are just stunning. I mean, who knew? Austin, Minnesota, sunset capital of the state.
How about that? That's a good reason to visit.
Mary Gummer says, my grandson Neil got his artwork into the district art show. It's the panda. You can see above him there. What a cutie he is, too. Very proud of him. I bet you are. Congrats, Neil. That is just beautiful.
Very cool, yeah.
Kathy White from Diamond Bluff sent this one in. Not sure it counts as good news, but it made me laugh out loud. She says, can you spot the seahorse?
The what?
This is bird poop.
What?
That was artfully pooped onto our door window. She says, I know it's not exactly good news, but I hope it brings a smile.
I thought it was like a squirrel that was on a feeder or something,
nope.
but no, that's
nope.
just...
It's easier to see when it's zoomed out a little bit more, but yeah.
And when you tell me that's what it is. That's
Thanks for joining us for Your Good News. If you'd like to share your good news with us, we do it every day at the end of our 4 p.m. newscast. Just send us an email to yourgoodnews@care11.com. Be sure to add any pictures or video that you'd like us to share. Maybe you have a new baby or your granddaughter got married. Maybe you beat cancer or simply shared good times with good friends. We want to hear about it. And until we see you again, have an excellent week, friends.